All right, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about. Well, I've actually already talked about it once, but you'll never see that because I was talking and my mic was off. I am really bad at this, okay? This is why you check your mic before you start talking. But anyway, I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about. And that is, I think single player games are better than multiplayer games. And I think the golden age of multiplayer games, or not just the golden age, just the age of multiplayer games is over. I think every single one of them, except a couple, are ass, and I don't think they'll ever get better. And I think it's just worth it just to quit and just to play single player games. And the reason I got thinking about this is because it's been like this for a while. It started in 2021 when Vanguard came out because I just quit COD and started playing single player games. Um, I mean, I always played single player games, but I didn't play multiplayer games really at all once Vanguard came out, besides like Fortnite and stuff. Um, but now I feel like it's still true, maybe more so, because every multiplayer game is just completely cooked. Call of Duty has lost 50% of its players, if not more, and cares about nothing besides making as much money they can out of bundles and shit, and is full of cheaters. Siege had its big blow up, and now it's completely dead because of cheaters. Apex is losing all its players and is full of cheaters and is just turning into a gotcha game. I mean, they're adding mythic grenade skins that cost $500 probably. Like, you cannot make this up. And look, and if you like those games, I'm not taking that away from you. I think people on the internet are too negative, and you're not allowed to enjoy anything. If you enjoy Siege, if you enjoy COD, I'm not trying to take that away from you. Just me personally, this is what I feel like. Um, but I feel like every multiplayer game is just struggling right now, except for a couple. Marvel Rivals is doing good, and Fortnite's doing good. But even Fortnite has its problems. I've seen a lot of Fortnite pros complain about, and not complain, and it's a valid complaint, but that cheaters are just winning tournaments, and Epic's even suing these cheaters. But and I've seen some people say, "Oh, well, they're suing cheaters. Maybe that'll stop them for sure. That'll stop them." But Call of Duty has chewed. I cannot talk fast. I'm so bad. Call of Duty has sued every cheat maker that exists, and guess what? Their game is still overrun with cheats. I don't think it'll do anything personally. Um, so even Fortnite has its problems. Marvel Rivals is probably the best multiplayer game in the world right now that doesn't have any problems at all. But, and I don't want to ruin people's fun, how often do we see a game come out and it's just perfect, like a multiplayer game, and it's just perfect and has crazy levels of hype, and then it just dies off after a couple months? Now, usually that is the game's fault that happens, and I don't think it happened with Marvel Rivals because Marvel Rivals seems to have a lot of passion behind it, but you never know. It's just kind of how multiplayer games work. Um, I mean, look at Helldivers. Look at X Defiant. Like I said, usually those games is fault. X Defiant with the just not doing updates, and Helldivers the PSN thing. But the point I'm making is every multiplayer game has very severe problems that just make the games unplayable, while single player games are thriving. This is looking like it's going to be the best year in gaming history. It just is looking like that with the amount of games that are supposed to come out, and then obviously, if it doesn't get delayed, the big one at the end, GTA 6. I just think it's the perfect time just to switch over and start playing single player games. Because, and I heard Marksman say this once, he's a COD YouTuber if you don't know who that is. He said that multiplayer games make money based on how many microtransactions they can sell and how much they can gouge the player's wallet, while single player games make their money off of how good their game is. And that's true. It's true. The most popular single player games, Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, GTA, like I could sit here for years, but those are just the three ones that popped in my head. Those games all make millions of dollars because they're just good games. Not because they have microtransactions or battle passes or, they're awful games, but people have FOMO, so they buy the battle pass even though they don't even like the game. No. They just make money because people like the game and they say, hey, I like this game. And then their friends go out and buy it. And it just, yeah, I don't know. And I just see all these games, all these multiplayer games failing. And I'm just like, why not just go to single player games? And look, I understand why. I understand that multiplayer games do have things that they do better than single player games. For example, multiplayer games last forever. You buy a game, or if it's free to play, you get it. It lasts forever. Like Fortnite's never not gonna be there. It's gonna be there probably until the world ends. Same with COD and stuff. They last forever. Whereas a single player game lasts the length of its story, and then it's over. Also, multiplayer games are competitive. I am a very competitive person. I assume a lot of people like competition. It's fun to grind ranked modes and to get good and be good and play against other good players. It's fun. You don't get that in single player games. You're playing against AI. But I just don't think it's worth all the downsides that they have. Terrible, terrible monetization. No passion. That's my big thing. If the game still had passion, I wouldn't care. I mean, BO3 is my favorite multiplayer game ever made, and that game had fucking pay to win loot box weapons. But the game had so much aesthetic and passion and aura, you could say, behind it that I didn't care. That's the problem, really. Like, BO6 has no fucking passion behind it whatsoever. The art's made with AI. All the maps are probably fucking, they asked Chat GPT what's a good Call of Duty map, and they made it. It just has no passion behind it. This is why Marvel Rivals is doing so good, and Fortnite's also doing well, besides the tournament cheaters, is the games have passion behind them. They actually, you could tell there's love that went into them. And that's just rare. Marvel Rivals and Fortnite are the only two. And like I said, even Fortnite's having problems. And I don't know. I just see people complain like this game's shit and this game's shit. And it's just switch to single player games, in my opinion. And then there's this weird phenomenon too, where one community will think something's shit, but another won't. So for example, I have seen COD players say, yeah, Call of Duty's so dog shit. Look at Apex. Why can't we be more like Apex Legends? And then you go over to Apex Legends, and it's like, they're losing all their players. They're getting $500 grenade skins that just leaked, apparently. No one wants to watch or play that game. Ranked play is completely full of cheaters. And it's like, it's so weird. And then you'll have Apex players saying all that stuff about their game, and then they'll come over to COD, and they'll say, man, this game's so good. You only have to pay $20 for bundles, not $500. That's so great. I love this game. But then COD players, I'd be like, $20 for a bundle? I don't want to pay that. And then I heard a COD Pro once. I think I was watching a stream, and they were like, why can't we have as good of a rank system as Siege has? And I'm like, bro, Siege's ranked is completely full of cheaters. I don't really play Siege a lot, but I know just from watching videos that Siege is completely full of cheaters. So that's another thing. People get stuck in their bubble and they think like their game is the worst game ever, but other games are good. And it's like, no, I think every multiplayer game basically, except like Marvel Rivals and Fortnite, are just shit. And let me be clear. I should have said this earlier. If you enjoy these games, there's nothing wrong with enjoying these games. There's not. Okay, I feel like the internet is way too fucking negative nowadays, and they just hate everything, and you're not allowed to enjoy anything. If you enjoy these games, I'm actually really happy for you, because I wish I did, but I don't. And I'm not trying to take it away from you. I'm really not. You can enjoy these games. I'm just saying, if you're one of these people that always complains about every single multiplayer game, validly so, valid, in my opinion, just play single player games. They're incredible. And this is the best year to switch to them probably ever, to be honest. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I've just been, basically ever since Vanguard, I've been playing mainly single-player games, and I thought BO6 would probably get me back into the multiplayer swing of things, but it just didn't. It just completely fell off a cliff. And I think I've realized that there's probably never going to be another good multiplayer game. I just don't think it'll happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be Marvel Rivals. I don't know. Maybe there'll be another good multiplayer game that comes out and it lasts for years, and it just. I don't know. It's just so exceedingly rare that I just don't think it'll happen. So yeah, and I've been playing a lot of single player games as well, which I thought of this. I've been playing like just this month. I've played No Man's Sky, which isn't single player; it's multiplayer. Bad example. But I've played Stanley Parable, Dying Light 2, and Need for Speed Heat. There's 3 multiplayer games right now. The PS Plus games. You got PS Plus, you get those for free. I just think, in my opinion, it's the perfect time to switch over just to playing single-player games and leave multiplayer games behind. Because the sad truth is, this isn't the 2010s anymore, and they're just not made with passion. and they're just really bad. Every single one of them, in my opinion. So yeah, let me know in the comments though what you think. Don't be a fucking asshole, okay? I don't. I just know since I wait so long to. Actually, my comments are usually pretty good. To be honest, I actually like the people in my comments. I never really get really toxic comments, which I'm very glad of because I just hate the toxicity on the internet that it's become. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you agree what you think. If you disagree, like I said, just don't be an asshole. Be a normal person, okay? Um, and also, if you enjoy these games, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying that you're a loser and that you can't enjoy these games as I don't. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Real quick, before the video ends, I want to add 2 extra points here that I forgot to mention while talking, and I didn't realize it until I was here editing the video. One, there is a social aspect to multiplayer games, which is a positive that you don't get with single player games, of course, because obviously, a single player game, you're playing by yourself. There's no one there with you. You can't talk to anyone. But I would argue even that aspect of multiplayer games has been completely butchered because of overly strict chat moderation. Look, I don't think chat moderation is a bad thing, but it is just it's too strict. It's too strict, and I can make a whole video about that. And the second point is you can play both. You can play both multiplayer and single player games. You do not have to pick one. I realized while editing this video that I made it sound like you have to pick one. You have to either play multiplayer games, you have to either play single player games. You have to pick one. No, you can obviously play both. That's what I do. I play a shit ton of single player games, and when there's nothing coming out, I play multiplayer games. Nothing wrong with that. But this video was aimed at the people that usually do only play multiplayer games and would never ever think about trying a single player game. Because there are a lot of people like that, and I was just making my point that I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should do that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I just wanted to mention that real quick.